My name is Nelson Thielen, and I am the Director of Faith Formation at St. Anne's Catholic Church in DeBary, Florida.
My name is Z. Perugino. I am the Liturgist and Communications Specialist at St. Anne's in DeBary, Florida. I've been using GPS for about a year now.
GPS is incredibly in-depth, and the tools at the disposal, the potential of the system is the thing that was most exciting when we started using it. Even here, we only scratched the surface of all the things that it could do, but the idea of me being a singular person, being able to, at the click of a button, handle all of these different capabilities all at the same time, really always really impressed me about the system.
I think GPS is a great system. I've never used anything like this before, and I was blessed to have learned the system.
Well, we started using GPS right around the time I got here to St. Anne's, but at my previous parish, we were also looking at a lot of live stream and presentation softwares, and that previous system worked well, but it required multiple people to do multiple different jobs. We had one person whose sole job was to do PowerPoint slides, and another person whose sole job was to work the camera for the live stream. And we were never able to streamline that process. And if we did have someone trying to do that all themselves, they're using multiple laptops at a time, and it just wasn't as cohesive.
Before GPS, we actually used a music stand, an iPad, and a napkin holder, and that's how we did the live streaming. We couldn't zoom in. When it zoomed in, it would really zoom in really quick, and it wasn't, you couldn't get any different camera angle. It was always the same angle that we had, just straight forward, and that was it. The audio wasn't clear, and also you couldn't see Father's face when they were standing on the altar or the lector. I didn't have the ability to, when I tried to move the iPad, I just had to keep my hand steady so it wouldn't be shaking like this across the altar. I am able to move from camera to camera without stopping and pausing, just fluently, just goes from one side to the other. It has improved it immensely. It's professional. The sound at home, people actually can hear the music. As before, they weren't able to hear it. And I can zoom in on the altar, on Father's face, and also when they're consecrating, it's a better view, as before I couldn't do that.
In our previous system, each individual component worked well, but along with needing multiple people to operate each component of what we needed for our presentation and our live stream, it also meant that we had to train each individual person on different programs in order to make that work. It wasn't just training them on one singular program like GPS. It was they're training on our presentation software, they're training on our live stream software, and so even then, once we finally had volunteers that were trained, the cross-training was then even more work to make sure that they could operate different devices if we needed them to.
My favorite features in GPS is the ability to move, have the camera on, for example, have the camera on the altar, and then while I know the lector's coming up, I'm able in the background to move the other camera, get it ready for the lector, and then just switch back, to the altar and then to the lector without moving. You don't see that on screen. That's a plus.
Well, I remember right before I got here, St. Anne's was kind of operating themselves just off of a singular iPad and trying to do their best to make their live stream work. Since GPS, though, it has allowed us to really have a professional level production and really allow us to reach those at home and amplify the experience of those in-house by having this cohesive and really top-notch production.
It has helped for the homebound, just being, we were hit with the pandemic. The churches were closed, which I've never seen in my lifetime. So it was great for the people the parishioners that could not come to church. We brought church to them, and they love seeing their parish. They can go and watch other live streams, but they wanted to see St. Anne's. They wanted to see our priests on the screen. So it was great for that.
For me, my favorite features in GPS are everything involving the different camera angles and how easy it is to set up our multiple camera shots, and it's intuitive enough that I can even be setting up one shot, get that set, and then I can be ready to go to the next shot, or I can be juggling that with setting up our in-house presentation, and that allows me to multitask in a way that is so easy and so seamless, and that makes all the difference in the world. So easily my favorite feature. GPS came to us at a time where so many of our parishioners were homebound, were not able to come into our church, where they were struggling with this longing to be a part of their local parish community, but unable to do so because of the pandemic. So the ability to then bring our local parish priest, to bring our piece of St. Anne's home to them in a way that was so professional, in a way that really did make them feel like they were in the room, was invaluable.
GPS made our life so much simpler. Back in the day, before GPS, we would take 2 televisions and put one on each side of the altar. We would have one person on one side and another on the other side. At the same time, we will press the on button so we can see the video. Twice or maybe more than that throughout the year, we do appeals for our diocese and other dioceses. So we would have to show these videos. And it was just trying to get synchronized so the TVs would be synced. It took skill. And this is so much easier because now what we do, we just project it on the wall, and it's fabulous. During the pandemic, we had to remove all the books, and not everybody knows all the songs. So with the GPS system, we had the songs that we type on the system, and people at home, they can sing along with us as people in the parish as we project it on the wall. It's just really a great feature for everybody. Everybody was happy about that.
I thought the use of the iPod Touches were pretty genius because first, they're cost effective. iPod Touches are incredibly affordable these days. But then also I loved that they were discreet. I loved that we could set up these smaller little tripods that were holding our iPod Touches, and we could set that up anywhere in the sanctuary without having another big intrusive piece of equipment that might be distracting to people coming into the room. It allowed us to have a cool angle of different statues and different stained glass and things like that without having a distraction.
Yes, without a doubt. I would definitely recommend GPS to any churches. It's user-friendly. It's a one-person setup, need it be, if you don't have anyone else that can help out and could just, you can just do it by yourself, set up the cameras, do the recording, and then take it down. It's definitely user-friendly.
Absolutely, I would, especially for other churches who, like many of us, were operating with smaller production teams and needed to be able to operate a big system with limited personnel. I think that is really where GPS shines, is in the accessibility to be done without having to have a whole huge team of volunteers making it work.